But one of the things that we're definitely paying attention to is the United States versus Skrmetti case. So for listeners who are unfamiliar with the case, can you explain what the case is and why it's so significant for trans youth?
Absolutely. And I'm trying not to get too nerdy in my whole legal bag. So I'm just keep it super, super basic. This case is about gender affirming care for trans youth. And so it's a case out of Tennessee, where the Tennessee government, state of Tennessee, is blocking gender affirming care for young people who need it. And at this point, what people need to understand is that we are talking about, we're talking about adolescents, we're talking about teenagers, we're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-old young people. We're not talking about, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, like minors in that way. We're also talking about young people who, with their doctors, with their parents, have gotten the consent, have been consulted, and it has been deemed that this care is medically necessary for them. And the state of Tennessee is blocking them from getting this care. But here's the specific thing. And what our case is about is we are making not just a gender identity discrimination argument. We're actually making a sex discrimination argument. And so what the state of Tennessee has done is said these medications are available for young people if they are cis. They are not available for trans young folks. And so in the law, it says, if you are accessing testosterone as a young boy who identifies as a boy who wants his voice to be deeper, or wants to grow facial hair, or wants to have these the typical male characteristics come on faster. If you want to access it for that purpose, that's fine. But if you are a person who was assigned female at birth and you want to access testosterone for the exact same reasons, a deeper voice, to have facial hair, you cannot access that medication. And so that is, on its face, sex discrimination, right? And so we're making that argument, and it's a equal protection clause argument, that you cannot treat people differently based on their sex. And so this is the case that we make all the time, that gender affirming care is accessed by cis people all the time. We were just talking about breast implants. Getting a boob job is gender affirming care. Getting BBL is gender affirming care. Hell, taking anything to help your erection is gender affirming care. That's gender affirming care. But when you say that trans people can't access it, that's discrimination. And so that's the argument that we made. My colleague, Chase Strangio, became the first out trans attorney to argue before the Supreme Court in the history of the Supreme Court, which was just extraordinary. It was really beautiful to witness a trans attorney fighting for these trans young people who got to actually be in the court and witness the arguments going down. So yeah, we did those arguments in December, a couple weeks ago, last week, actually, and we have to wait until June for the Supreme Court decision to come down.